Good afternoon, WPC friends and family. I'm back again with what's in the kitchen, what's in the cabinet, what's in the fridge. So today we're going to be making a one-pan baked ziti. Now it says baked ziti, but you can really use any pasta that you have, that you like, whatever. All pastas are pretty much made the same. The cut of the pasta and the name of the pasta is used according to what type of sauce you're putting with that pasta. So with this one, it really doesn't matter. So we're going to start, fresh basil to taste, which I'm not going to use fresh basil today because I've got a few herbs in my sauce. A teaspoon of garlic powder, 24 ounces of marinara sauce, any type of jarred pasta sauce, or if you want to use tomato paste and tomato sauce from the can. A teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1.5 cups of mozzarella, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of Italian sausage. Now, for my people who are not big fans of beef, you can use ground turkey. I've done that many a times. You can use just ground pork, or you can use just ground Italian sausage. For my vegan friends, if you want to substitute these meats for beans and mushrooms, zucchini, all of those things give your baked ziti a lot of life, a lot of body, a lot of bite. So you're going to season this meat to taste, and these herbs are mentioned, but you can put in whatever combination that you like. We're going to brown our ground beef and our sausage in a skillet. I've got those over here. You're going to cook your pasta according to the directions on your box. Then you're going to place these 3 things in a baking dish. Just make sure it's big enough. If you use this whole recipe, you're going to need a 9 by 13. Today, I'm only doing half the recipe, so I'm going to be using a slightly smaller pan. And if you decide to quarter your recipe, of course, then you'll need a even smaller pan. You're going to mix your sauce and your spices in your pan with your meat and your pasta. And then you're going to add in about 1/2 cup of that mozzarella cheese. You're going to stir to combine. You want it to be nice and incorporated. And then you're going to top it with the remaining mozzarella cheese. Now, while I'm putting this together, I'm going to give you some tidbits, and I'm going to tell you about some substitutions that I've made. Okay, so we're going to get my pan together here. You see that it's not quite a 9 by 13, it's a casserole dish. And I've sprayed it liberally with some pan spray. You want to make sure you do that. I'm going to add in my Italian sausage, which I cooked yesterday, so it's got a little bit of solid fat in it, but that's the good stuff. And that looks like a piddly amount, but it's going to work out. Then I'm going to put in my ground beef. I'm going to put that together. I'm going to incorporate that. All right, now I'm going to put in a pasta. When you cook pasta that is going to be reincorporated into a casserole, or you're going to cook it again, you want to make sure your pasta is al dente. Now, what does that mean? That means that it is to the tooth or to the bite. It's not mushy. It's still got a little bit of firmness to it. You don't want it to be crunchy, but you do want it to be firm because it's going to cook some more when you put it in your casserole. So it's sticking together like pasta does. Let's break it apart. And I also set aside some extra pasta juice or pasta water. Pasta is supposed to be seasoned before you boil it. So I put in my salt as it was boiling. Otherwise, your pasta will not be salted when you add it at the end. You want to make sure you add it as you're cooking, so it has time to absorb those flavorings. Even your garlic. If you want to boil a clove or two of garlic with it, you can do that. So I've got my pasta incorporated into my meat. I'm going to add in some Asiago cheese because I want that to give me a little bit of creaminess in the body of my baked ziti. And then I'm going to add my pasta sauce. Now remember, these seasonings are in my pasta sauce, so I'm not going to add any more. However, if you want to add more, you're welcome to add more. I'm going to mix this in and fully incorporate everything. This pasta will also take on the flavor of your pasta sauce as it's cooking, especially if it has been cooked al dente. Nice and creamy sauce. There we go. And then you want to spread it evenly in your pan. And guess what I'm going to add to this? I'm going to add a little bit of zucchini to this. My daughter cooked zucchini last night and she had a little bit left over. So I'm going to add it to my pasta. Go. Okay, so you've got some zucchini that's already been cooked and it's already been seasoned. So I'm just going to add in a spoonful or two. Now parents, if you're trying to get your kids to eat a few more veggies and they're a little reluctant, you can shred zucchini, shred squash, any of those types of vegetables and add it into your casseroles and dishes of that sort, and they'll never know what's in there. Also, you can add zucchini to brownies and it will also help with the nutrient value and give the kids a little bit of a surprise. Okay, so I've incorporated that zucchini nicely. I'm going to put my Asiago on top first, and then I'm going to finish it off with my mozzarella. Now, I don't know if I've told you this before, but for the most part, I don't buy pre-shredded cheese. It's got wax and starch on it, so it won't stick together in the bag. So I usually shred all my cheese. And I'm going to add a little bit of my pasta water in the corners. So give me a little bit of moisture in that dish. And this is what it looks like before it goes in. The recipe says to cook it for about 50 minutes, but you know your oven and you may not need that much time. So after about 30 minutes, I'd keep my eye on it and see if it looks the way you want it to look. So through the magic of television, as they say, we've got one that has come out. And we've got one that's going in. Now this is what we're looking like here. And what I want you to know for this one, I added some mushrooms and onions to give it a little bit more oomph. And I guess you're wondering, what are we doing with all of this baked ziti? Well, we certainly won't eat it all here at my house. So I'm going to parcel it out to friends and relatives who are not going to the grocery store or not going to fast food restaurants at this time. So I hope you found something helpful here. Make this dish what you want. What you need to remember is that a culinary dish, that's your meat and potatoes, you put in that what you like and how you taste. When you're doing a baked good, you have to follow that recipe pretty closely because it is a science experiment, and those measurements are there for that product to come out to its optimum. So we've got a baked ziti this week. I hope you enjoy it, and bon appetit!